and they never got this kind of shine. This girl, the Golden Goose, comes along, and she wreaks havoc. She's the Rookie of the Year. She's 4th in the league in MVP voting. 4th in the league, her rookie year.
Wow.
Outstanding. She's like.
On live television, Caitlin Clark's detractors were just exposed. And that came from a senior ESPN expert who was just stating the facts, not a fan.
No woman has ever done what Caitlin Clark just did. The ball in her hand, she's the point guard. The ball's in her hand.
It was cruel. It was noisy. And it immediately stopped making noise. But believe me, that angry tirade is only the start. I know the whole story, and it's crazy.
You don't take that out on Caitlin Clark, not her. She's the one that assists you. When black folks was marching during the civil rights era and fighting every battle they possibly could, they weren't dismissive, nor did they assist in denigrating the white people.
Caitlin Clark was supposed to be the solution, the savior, the ranged jumper with the golden goose with a logo just a few months ago. She brought with her a Nike agreement hotter than the hardwood, record-breaking college viewership, and something the WNBA hadn't seen in decades, mainstream prominence. All seats in every venue where she played sold out, and all eyes were now focused on women's basketball. However, the honeymoon lasted only about a month. Clark was the league's favorite punching bag, both literally and figuratively, by the time she played in her 3rd WNBA game. She was being elbowed, hacked, hip-head, and undercut on the court in what fans started to refer to as WW-level fouls. A strange alliance of media cynics, former players, and sour benchwarmers appeared off the court to cast doubt on her toughness, qualifications, and eligibility to serve as the league's spokesperson. It seemed like the WNBA as a whole had forgotten that leagues are bolstered by superstars, not destroyed. The most absurd aspect is that the complaints didn't focus on her win-loss record, which, incidentally, improved while she was on the court, or her stats, which were historic for a rookie. No, the argument was frequently abstract. She failed to pay her obligations. She was overly enthusiastic. The veterans weren't treated fairly by her popularity. Without irony, some even asserted that Caitlin Clark's fame was due to other players. It was like witnessing a lottery winner be sued by the state as a whole for being overly fortunate. The pushback to the backlash followed. What is really going on here began to be asked by media heavyweights, fans, and former athletes, since it is very evident when you look at the figures, check the viewership, and look at the ticket prices. It's Caitlin Clark's time. Therefore, why does the league seem to be upset with her for
how this thing finna go. Now, I'm here to tell you there's multiple doctors that has spoken about Caitlin Clark injury and pretty much how the front office and the Indiana Fever training staff and medical staff kind of dropped the ball on this injury, bro. You just don't see stuff like this happening in the NBA, NFL. Somebody come back from injury 2-3 games and they hurt again. This type of stuff really don't happen. It didn't get the same type of thing.
The Indiana Fever have been treating Clark like a scientific experiment that they have almost destroyed if the league is to blame for viewing her as a threat rather than a resource. Let's dissect this. During her rookie season, Clark, who never missed a game in college, is currently juggling 4 separate lower body injuries. In just 6 weeks, the girl went from being invincible to barely hanging on due to quad strains, groin pulls, and severe muscular injury. Someone has to work really hard behind the scenes for that to happen. Oh, yes, they did. Clark completely broke off contact with the Fever's medical personnel, according to several people. Not constrained, not retracted, and totally cut off. She is now employing her own staff of doctors, and worse, she isn't even informing Indiana of the results. Medical autonomy does not include that. It is an act of silent defiance. That is like to a quarterback benching the coaching staff and calling their own plays midfield in the WNBA. What caused the uprising? Since it was said that the Fever was forcing her to return to the court for a full-speed practice, and to her astonishment, she was hurt once more. Her stride was slow, her mobility was poor, and her frustration was evident on her face, according to fans. There was no denying Clark's camp's determination. This is no longer what we do. What exacerbates it? Her representative appeared to be having a pleasant tunnel conversation with Liberty coaches and players at Barclays Center. Translation: Clark may be able to locate a club that doesn't play if Indiana continues to do so. Call it the playbook of Kawhi Leonard. Instead of checkers, call it chess. Call it what you will, Caitlin Clark is playing to safeguard her future, even if it means going against what her team expects her to accomplish.
A critique of Caitlin Clark because that gives fodder to those who believe she's being hated on and ostracized to some degree. Do you realize that, Cheryl Swoops, you're insane to do that? Let me tell you why you're insane to do that. Because Cheryl Swoops, you're one of the greatest players ever in the history of basketball. That's what. See, you won a championship in college at Texas Tech. You won.
When even ESPN, the home of the hot take, is compelled to abandon reasonable reasoning, you know the slander has reached a breaking point. A group of experts broke down the anti-Clark narrative with what they referred to as harsh truths in a rare moment of insight. To be honest, this conversation was in dire need of a harsh reprimand. They pulled up the numbers first. Caitlin Clark appeared in every highly anticipated WNBA game this season. Clark had the highest ticket sales. Clark is the biggest seller of products. Clark, you guessed it, was substantially responsible for the league-wide revenue increase. However, detractors still act as though she is merely an overhyped rookie who could be good if she humbles herself. They then discuss the physicality in detail. According to one expert, the referees would have sent out texts akin to Halloween candy if LeBron, Mahomes, or Steph Curry had been the targets of these fouls in any other league. However, they ignore it in the WNBA. Every night, the league's most prized asset gets clobbered, and no one is standing up for her. Tough love isn't that. Professional negligence is what that is. Envy is what another commenter described it as. They claimed that everyone goes crazy the instant someone in this league receives more attention than they should. Since more stars translate into more money for everyone, Clark's play deserves the attention. Nevertheless, some league members have attempted to undermine her rather than support her. The last dagger. If Caitlin Clark weren't white, would she still be this hated, or would she just be another player carrying the league on her back? Was the million-dollar question posed by one commentator. Then there was stillness. Too many individuals are scared to respond to this question, but they are also no longer bold enough to dismiss it.
Gets injured and more than half the TV audience for the entire league disappears. Has any other athlete ever had that kind of impact on a sport? Golf without Tiger definitely dropped precipitously on occasion, but not like this. A truly remarkable sports.
Feelings seem to be failing, so let's talk numbers. Caitlin Clark is a human algorithm glitch, a walking Nielsen spike. More people watched her collegiate championship game than the men's. The top 5 WNBA games this season are all Clark, all pandemonium, and all money, as is her first game, which had the highest rating in more than 20 years. However, people somehow experience amnesia when the conversation shifts to her influence. All of a sudden, either Angel Reese made her famous, she isn't that good, or the media is the only reason she is well known. Oh, really? Then why do the cameras not follow everyone else around as if she were Beyoncé on a global tour? This is the reality. It's not only her skill as a player that garners Clark so much attention. The reason for this is that she is the league's first real needle mover. Consider Tiger Woods. Consider LeBron. Consider Serena. When someone goes beyond their sport, it looks like this. And this is the unsettling reality for some players and even supporters. There is no need for the league for Caitlin Clark. She is needed by the league. There is more to the ratings than meets the eye. A referendum is being held. A focus on the players, coaches, and executives who are unsure of how to use the league's unrealized potential. Too many people are attempting to swim against the wave rather than embrace it. They'll also realize that you don't get to pick your star when the tide eventually turns. The general public already possesses.
Being a young white lady contributes to it. So what? Benefit from it. And then you have a lot of folks that have come to the defense of numerous WNBA players because they were pointing out like this has been going on before long and people are not hating on her. It's not about hating on her. It's that you feel she is getting a level of attention that you deserved and you warranted long before she ever came along. It's understandable. But it happens. You think there weren't players that weren't jealous of Michael Jordan, that didn't resent Michael Jordan? Okay, but clearly things are on an upward trending trajectory. It's improving, and she has everything to do with it. Attendance for Indiana Fever games? Are you kidding me? WNBA draft, games on ABC, ESPN, television ratings. She's directly responsible. And people were resenting her for it, like she was the cause of the problems that they had for the lack of recognition. No, she just happened to be born.
When your coworker unexpectedly becomes the company's spokesperson, generates record profits, and receives all the benefits you've worked so hard to acquire over the years, what do? You cast shade in the break room if you work a regular job. In the WNBA, however, you shove her in the ribs in the middle of a drive and then pretend to be perplexed when the referee blows the whistle. In addition to being aggressive, Clark's fouls have also been calculated. Coaches have literally told players to play her hard, which is a euphemism that has evolved into direct harassment. And a collective shrug was the league's response. Games are becoming chaotic because of the referees. Furthermore, nothing is called unless the violence becomes well known. It is visible to even casual fans. It's not your typical rookie hazing. It's resentment disguised as jerseys. Under a microscope, every move, pass, stumble, and grimace made by Clark is examined. Players who hurl elbows and yell obscenities, meanwhile, are given a free pass. The tension on the court is palpable. This isn't simply a sport anymore. Soft screens and trainers are involved in a cold AR. Desperate to expand, the league now has to deal with an impossibility. Defend the celebrity who is enhancing your brand or plate the seasoned professionals who perceive her as a threat. Here's the catch, though. If the league had been in good shape prior to her arrival, there would be no stress at all. It was not Clark who caused this instability. She simply revealed it.
Things are on an upward trending trajectory. It's improving, and she has everything to do with it. Attendance for Indiana Fever games? Are you kidding me? WNBA draft, games on ABC, ESPN, television ratings. She's directly responsible. And people were resenting her for it, like she was the cause of the problems that they had for the lack of recognition. No, she just happened to be born white. That's it.
The most poetic aspect of all of this craziness is that Caitlin Clark continues to show up, drop dimes, and hit 30-footers while carrying a defender on her arm like a backpack.